Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and felt like someone was watching you? Well, that's exactly what happened to little Emma one quiet evening. She thought it was just her imagination, the creak of the floorboards, the whisper of the wind, until she heard a soft thump from under her bed. Her heart raced. She slowly leaned over the edge, trying to peek into the darkness below. Nothing. Just shadows. But as she turned to pull her blanket back up, a voice whispered from underneath. "I've been waiting for you." From that night on, Emma's room was never the same. The first night it happened, Emma thought it was just the wind. Her window always rattled when the breeze came through, and the old house made noises all the time. But this was different. The sound wasn't coming from the window. It was coming from beneath her. She tried to ignore it, tucked herself tightly under her blanket, and told herself it was just her imagination. But then came the scratching. Slow, steady, like tiny fingers brushing against the wooden floor. Emma froze. Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure whoever or whatever was under the bed could hear it. Then, just as suddenly as it started, silence. The next morning, she checked under her bed. Nothing there, just her favorite red socks and an old toy she lost months ago. She shook her head and laughed nervously. "See, Emma, just your imagination." But deep down, she wasn't so sure. The following night, Emma tried to convince herself it had all been a dream. She read her bedtime story, turned off the lamp, and snuggled beneath her blanket. But as the clock struck midnight, the air in her room grew colder, like someone had opened a door to winter itself. Then she heard it. Rustle, scrape, shuffle. This time the sound wasn't faint. It was clear. It was real. Emma sat up, her eyes wide, staring into the darkness. The moonlight spilled through her curtains, casting long shadows across the floor. That S when she saw it, the corner of her blanket slowly being tugged down toward the edge of the bed. Her breath caught. "Mum," she whispered. No answer. The blanket moved again, just a little. Emma pulled it back quickly and squeezed her stuffed bunny tight. She didn't sleep for the rest of the night. By morning, she noticed something strange. Tiny handprints in the dust beneath her bed. Too small to be hers and too fresh to ignore. By the third night, Emma had made up her mind. She had to know what was under the bed. No more pretending, no more hiding. If something was really there, she was going to catch it. So she came up with a plan. After dinner, she grabbed her flashlight, her favorite stuffed bunny, and a granola bar, just in case she got hungry while waiting. She told her parents goodnight, crawled into bed, and left the flashlight tucked under her pillow. Hours passed. The clock ticked softly. The house grew still. Then creak, scrape, tap. Emma's eyes shot open. It was back. Her hands trembled as she slid the flashlight from under her pillow and pointed it at the floor. For a moment, nothing. Then something shifted in the shadows. She held her breath and whispered, "Who's there?" A faint giggle came from underneath the bed. Not scary, just soft, almost playful. Emma's fear turned into curiosity. maybe it wasn't a monster at all. But as she leaned closer, that tiny giggle turned into a low, echoing whisper. "You can see me now." Emma froze, her flashlight flickered, and the room went completely dark. The darkness felt heavy, almost alive. Emma could barely breathe as she clicked the flashlight, trying to bring it back to life. Click, click, flicker. A weak beam of light finally appeared, and that's when she saw it. Two pale eyes stared back at her from under the bed, wide, glowing softly, like tiny lanterns in the dark. Emma gasped, but something stopped her from screaming. The eyes weren't angry, they looked sad. Slowly, a small see-through figure began to crawl out. It was a boy, no older than her, with ruffled hair and a faint glow that shimmered like moonlight. He floated just a few inches off the ground. "I'm sorry if I scared you," the ghost whispered, his voice trembling. "I didn't mean to." Emma blinked, clutching her bunny. You're a ghost." He nodded slowly. "I think so, but I don't remember my name. I just wake up here every night, and you're the only one who can see me." Emma's fear melted into wonder. "You've been under my bed this whole time." He smiled shyly. "I didn't have anywhere else to go." For the first time, Emma didn't feel afraid. She felt sorry and a little curious. Emma sat cross-legged on the floor, her flashlight casting a warm glow between them. The ghost boy hovered quietly, fidgeting with his faded, glowing sleeves as if he were nervous. "What's your name?" Emma asked softly. He shook his head. "I don't remember. I only remember this room and a little toy car that rolled under your bed a long, long time ago." Emma frowned. "A toy car?" The boy nodded. "I was looking for it when everything went dark, and when I opened my eyes again, everyone was gone." Emma's heart ached. "So you've been stuck here ever since?" He nodded sadly. "I didn't mean to scare you. I just get lonely down there. When you moved into this room, I thought maybe you could help me find my way out." Emma looked under her bed, searching through the dust. Sure enough, behind a pile of old toys, she saw a tiny, rusted blue car. She picked it up and smiled. "You mean this?" The ghost's eyes lit up brighter than before. "That's it. That's mine." For a moment, the air around them seemed to shimmer. The shadows on the walls softened. But before Emma could say another word, the ghost whispered, "Thank you, Emma. I think I can go home now." A soft light began to fill the room, not from the flashlight, but from the ghost himself. It shimmered gently, wrapping the space in a warm, golden glow that made everything feel calm and peaceful. Emma's eyes widened. "What's happening?" The ghost smiled. "I think you helped me remember who I was. My name was Toby. I used to live here before your family moved in. That little toy car was the last thing I ever had. You helped me find it again." Emma felt her throat tighten. "Do you have to go?" Toby nodded slowly. "I think so, but thank you, Emma. I'm not scared anymore." His voice began to fade, like a whisper in the wind. The glow around him sparkled brighter, then gently scattered into tiny stars that floated upward and disappeared into the ceiling. Emma sat there for a moment, silent, holding the tiny toy car in her hand. The room felt lighter somehow. The cold air was gone. She whispered, "Goodbye, Toby." Then, just as she turned off her flashlight and crawled back into bed, a soft voice echoed faintly one last time, "Good night, Emma." From that night on, Emma never heard strange noises again. No more scratching, no more whispers from under the bed. But every now and then, when the moonlight shone just right, she could swear she saw a tiny sparkle drift across her room, like a reminder that her ghostly friend was still watching over her. She kept the little blue toy car on her nightstand, right beside her lamp. It wasn't just a toy anymore, it was a promise. A promise that sometimes the things we fear the most just need someone brave enough to listen. And so every night before bed, Emma would smile, whisper goodnight, Toby, and drift off to sleep, knowing that even the spookiest stories can have a little bit of heart hidden inside them. Because sometimes ghosts aren't here to haunt us. They're just waiting to be remembered.